Good evening, everybody. Sorry about 2-3 minutes of delay due to some technical reasons. As that is one of our very dear guest who has been with us for last 2 or 3 occasions. You might remember that he was with us when he spoke about Aurobindo and his teachings, and then he also uh, described his views about the identity at the time when the lockdown was at its severest in the country, when everybody was locked down in India. Dr. Pradeep Kumar, or Jivasu, as he is called, is an Indian Canadian pediatrician, teacher, writer, and founder of the naturality movement. He is now in Canada and he's live with us from Canada. Welcome, Jivasu. I will formally introduce him. He earned a certification in mind body medicine from Harvard Medical School and diplomas in acupuncture from Sri Lanka and Canada. For the last 25 years, through courses, seminars, workshops, he has been teaching naturality, mind body medicine, and acupuncture all over the world. He is the author of many books, including Naturality, Meditation, A Path of Relaxation, Awareness, and Expansion of Awareness. I have had the opportunity of meeting him in one of the yoga mind body medicine workshop in All India Institute, Rishikesh, and I was deeply moved by his thoughts and inspirational talks and his commitment to mind body medicine and integrated healthcare as we know it. So we've been discussing various aspects of mind body connections, yoga, Ayush, the scientific aspects, bringing spiritual leaders, thought leaders to this forum, and I'm pretty much sure that you will enjoy his presence. Those of you who could not listen to him in the last 2 or 3 occasions, you will love to hear from him. A very serene and a humble person. I also am going to switch off my other media and going to listen to him. Over to Dr. Pradeep Kumar, or Jivasuji. We look forward to hearing from you. He's going to be talking on an important issue, and that is about decoding to self access peak intelligence, how we can decode and unravel ourselves to access peak intelligence. I guess this is going to be his talk. Over to Jivasuji. We look forward to hearing from you. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Akshay Bhai, and Sahajaste to all of you. Sahajaste is a new greeting. It means natural in me affirms natural in you. And before I start talking about what Akshayji mentioned, decoding self to access our peak intelligence, which is the source intelligence, I would like to chant few lines, particularly in these times when the COVID is affecting not only our bodies but our mind. It now becoming the virus of our mind, because as we know that once a body suffers or the illness is long standing, whether within ourselves or in others, it affects our mind, our emotions. So I would like to chant these few lines. धर्म देहम धर्म मानस धर्म बुद्धि आत्मा धर्म प्रियजन धर्म सर्वजन धर्म देश धर्मे धरा धर्म ने हम धर्म एकम धर्म ही गतिशीलता धर्म जीवन धर्म चेतन धर्म ही आनंद परम सहजम अस्ति 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 ही. So I founded the naturality movement. Is a complete system So this is the opening, the ethics of our system, which says right care of my body, feelings, thoughts, and soul. Right care of my family, community, country, and earth. Let that right care come from a sense of love and oneness and movement. And let that right care bring me the bliss of conscious existence. I affirm this, I affirm this, I affirm this in my naturalness. And this is the high time to do that, because with the COVID, dig in now for many months, our familiar world is changed in a dramatic way. And that is what is causing tremendous stress, anxiety, despair. And the result of that is that emotional problems and mental problems are now increasing. Because when there were few weeks with COVID, Corona, people were able to cope much better. Indoor life, cooking, talking to relatives, friends, connecting, all those things worked. And also we were involved in listening to others about yoga, about meditation, about breath work, about compassion, love. But the problem is that when this whole issue of COVID is persisting, and we really don't know when it will end, we are developing slowly a fatigue, a sense for almost despair, because everything in our life now is restricted. So many people cannot work, so many people cannot travel, so many people cannot go out whatever they wanted to do. And as far as the external world is concerned, help is concerned, they are doing whatever they can do. So for our medical system, our health system, our technology, our politicians, our economy, everybody is trying their best. But that is all external. That doesn't come from within. So this whole crisis is not anymore only the medical crisis, political crisis, economic crisis. It is actually existential crisis. Existential means when all external means, all external help we realize is going to be of limited value. Then it comes to us, and quite often we are lost. We don't know what to do. Of course, in order to reduce stress, we can do yoga, and there are plenty of yoga teacher, yoga demonstration, that is wonderful, or meditation techniques, or pranayama, or listening to various points of view from various teachers. And that is what is happening on this forum. But do you think that is enough? Because problem of all that which we did, which we are doing, again comes from outside. And also it is very fragmented. There is no comprehensive presentation or offer. It is all divided. Various point of view, various ideas, various philosophy. So the whole question comes, what I'm supposed to do with them? Because they are techniques, they are merely talks. They can support in healthy time. When things are transient, they will disappear. But I really don't know what is going to happen in next 6 months, next 1 year or 2 years. So that is the question looming. At this point, should I continue with all this, or I have to look into something else? And it is very natural for us to look outward for help, because our very survival, since we were born, our survival was dependent on external factors: physical support, psychological support, emotional support, even spiritual support. But it is no more as relevant. It is going to play a part, as I mentioned earlier, but that is not enough. So in order to cope, in order to deal with this situation, it's a very big challenge, but it is also an opportunity. Opportunity means whenever there is a crisis, it brings sorrow, it brings suffering, but it's a great spiritual, existential opportunity. But how I can turn this into opportunity, because I cannot help external forces anymore. So either I may be in despair, I may be in pain, I may be in suffering, I may be anxious or becoming panicky. But that is the only thing I can do, or I can do something else. That is what I call opportunity. Because rarely in our life, on very few occasions, we truly go within ourselves. We rarely decode ourselves, decode self. And what that means is my own mind and body, about which Ayurveda spoke a lot. Because when I live in the world, how I live in the world? I have feelings, I have thoughts, I have a body. And I contemplate about Atma or soul or spirit, about which I don't know. But at least we know that in order to function in this world, I have to have a mind and a body. And that is the first self, first part of my life I have to decode. What is the meaning of decoding? Means knowing it. Self-knowledge. And this self-knowledge is not about God, about non-dual, about some Brahm. It is very simple. I have to understand my mind and body. Because mostly what I do with my mind and body is completely dependent on external forces. That is why we hardly ever discover, we know who we are. Not in depth, not some ultimate reality, but simply about my feelings, about my emotions and body. Because in this mind and body is hidden the essence, the gem, the whole summary of my life. Because this mind and body is constituted by the genetic structure, by epigenetic influences. Epigenetic influences means my environment, my ancestors. And also it contains my past experiences in my life, and also my past lives, if I believe there is a reincarnation and a rebirth. So techniques, meditation, talking about a million things is not enough, because that can only sustain me for few days, for few months. I have to decode myself. I have to enter into myself. Because once I enter, this mind and body become my door. door to my intelligence. And I'm not talking about intellectual intelligence or emotional intelligence. Of course, they are the part of this intelligence. That intelligence actually is the supreme intelligence. That is the intelligence of life itself. And it is not something transcendental. That intelligence pervades every single atom, each fiber, each thought of my being. But because we don't pay attention, we don't know about it. The word intelligence comes from interligere. Interligere means in between, because it is in between. Just like when we are breathing, there is an in breath and there is an out breath. But we don't realize, we don't pay attention that between in breath and out breath is a little gap, a gap of silence. Same thing about our thoughts. Our thoughts are never continuous. Where one thought ends and another thought starts, there is a little gap of silence. Same thing about music. When a note finishes and the another note starts, there is a gap of silence. That is where the true intelligence is, alive, total, organic, wholesome. We miss it because our mind focuses not in that silent gap, but whatever is visible, whatever is audible. So we can perceive thought, we can perceive sound, we can perceive inhalation and exhalation, but we miss that gap. So the whole idea of decoding self and knowing is to enter into my mind, body, personality and find that intelligence. And that intelligence will take to my peak potential, peak health, because that will establish me in myself, not in an external world. External world should do the maximum what it wants to do to me, my health system, my economics, my politicians, my family. But that is not enough. I have to touch, I have to contact through my mind body this intelligence, that silence, which can speak volume in its silent way about myself, my strength. Because once I'm established in myself, I'm in a state of swasthya. What is the meaning of swasthya? Swasthya is a Sanskrit word, means health. We use in India all the time. But what is the literal meaning of swasthya? It comes from two words, swasthya. When I am established in myself. Swa means self. Stha means to establish. Once I am established in myself, now the control center is in me. Center of my life is not going to be outside. Because when center of my life is outside, and those outside circumstances, outside people, they fluctuate, they are in turmoil, the order is gone, then I'm going to be in disorder. I'm going to be in anxiety and panic. So no matter how much yoga you do, how much meditation you do, how much breath work you do, to how many people you listen, it is not going to resolve the problem. Because that is all the part of knowledge and technique. That is not truly knowing. Knowing and establishing in myself, that is what is called decoding self. To access peak intelligence. The intelligence which is inherent in all of us. But the question comes, how to do it? Because it seems quite fine. Okay, I agree. I have to access myself in this crisis situation. It's very simple actually, much simpler than we can think. And Ayurveda was the healing system, which is called also science of life, which decoded it, which put it in a very beautiful form, and they called it Prakriti, my own nature, my mind body nature. And it is through a very not a very complex questionnaire. It's a very simple questionnaire through which I start decoding myself. I start first time knowing myself, my mind, my body, my feelings, my thoughts. And if I align myself with it, with my own nature, what I'm going to experience? I'm going to experience a sense of flow. And perhaps some of you never heard of this word, but there is a whole flow psychology. And all of us experience it. But because we don't pay attention, so we miss it. Flow is a state also called in zone. I'm gardening, I'm bicycling, I'm driving, I'm doing laboratory work, I'm seeing patient, I'm reading, I'm listening to the music, I'm dancing, I'm meeting my newborn baby, I'm painting. In all those moments we experience, suddenly there is a sense of flow. Flow means as if I'm gliding through those moments, through that time. Everything is so smooth, so joyful, so ecstatic, with such a sense of well-being. And that is the first sign that, yes, I'm establishing in myself. And what happens? Although external world is there with all its problems, sorrow, turmoil, destruction, war, but that cannot touch it inside. And that doesn't mean I'm disconnected. No, whatever action has to be taken in external world, in fine details will be taken, but somewhere inside me will remain intact, energetic, full of well-being. But this is only the beginning. After that, what comes, we call peak intelligent moment. So it is entering into the door of my mind, body, personality, my prakriti, my nature. And first, whom I will meet? Flow. Flow in my own being. And as I proceed, then there will be peak intelligence. In those peak intelligence moment, I will touch the totality of everything inside me, which will be connected totally with outside too. That is the moment of transformation. Although that moment will disappear very soon, but it will leave a spark in me. And that spark will light something in me, a lamp. And that lamp within my mind, within my life energy, will enlighten me. So now, instead of outer light, it will be inner light. And this inner light doesn't belong to Hinduism, yoga, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity. No, it is my own, absolutely my own, because all other religion, all other paths, yoga, everything is merely an external expression of it, various point of view. That is why we are lost in them and we don't know what to do. But once through mind and body, this peak intelligence which happens after decoding myself, it will integrate everything. Because it has organic unity. It is not fragmented, it is not divided, and it is effortless and it is spontaneous. Once that happens, a million things of the world, whatever I learned, my knowledge, whatever is going in the world, will all come together. That doesn't mean sorrow or pain will disappear. Absolutely not. But I will remain unaffected. It will come for a moment, it will come for a day and will disappear. Because the mind and body will become like a lotus. What is the quality of lotus? Lotus takes everything, all the dirt water, but wind comes, shakes its petal, and it is gone, because lotus petals are covered with wax. So they feel everything, everything comes to it, but nothing is retained. So that is what decoding self is all about. That is the very core of naturality movement, naturality system. To experience our peak intelligence, it is not about the nirvana of Buddhism. It is not about God of Hinduism. It is something unique which is beyond all sects, all tradition, all spirituality. And in that, we need only a pointing finger, a teacher, not a guru. And that is where all these crises, all this suffering becomes an opportunity. And that is what we want, because we know all sorrow, all suffering, all problems, they hide behind it something quite extraordinary. Because only in sufferings and pain we can go in depth. When we are happy, elated, excited, we can never go inside deep. In happiness, we only go outward. We celebrate. But suffering, truly from one point of view of celebration of the inner, because it takes us to depth of our being, and that is where we decode ourselves, we discover ourselves to touch the peak intelligence, and after that peak intelligence state where we become free and liberated in our mind and body. So it's a very big topic, but I think I would like to stop here. And if there is any question, please put it on Facebook. I'll be very happy to give you more details, and I can go more details about it. So with that, Sahajaste again. Natural in me affirms natural in you. Why I don't say namaste? Because namaste means I bow to the divine in you, but some of you may be atheist, and that is wonderful. Why everybody should believe in God. But natural as far as concerned, whether I believe in God or not, is there. That is a part of our being. Thank you.
Thank you, Jivasuji. I hope I'm audible. I'm not visible to viewers due to a technical fault in my entire area. I just discovered there was a entire sector which was brought down for a change of station. So I hope I'm audible. So I could pose.
Quite clearly. Actually, it's a
Sir,
very
you are
voice.
audible.
Thank you,
Yes.
Jivasu. I have to ask you instead of greeting you. But a wonderful talk. I was with you throughout, and there are people, some Peter Jenick saying that he's listening while working. Thank you, Jivasu. Rita Isaac, one of our quite a follower, asks, "Sir, what does a good mental health mean, and in which perspective we should rate this?" And number part B, she said, maybe I can just read it out. And
So number one is good. What is good mental health?
yes, how to and how to rate it. How do you,
Right.
and then
Okay.
the part B is she asks, how should we trigger the neuroscience of self-healing? And what she means is how do we activate the placebo effect of natural healing, as she calls it, in the present scenario.
Okay. So it is about placebo. Okay.
Yeah. And she has a follow-up question I'll ask you later. You can
Right.
spend time on this.
That's right. That's right. So, so should I answer it just now?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. So, first of all, mental health is not only absence of mental health problem. My criteria in naturality that there are three presence or positive and three absences which define mental health. The first sign of mental health is sense of well-being. Sense of well-being. It may not be continuous, but by and large we feel good about our world. So a sense of inner well-being, number one. Number two is a sense of feeling of love and compassion. Second, and third is creativity. Because a mentally healthy person is mentally very agile, full of energy, full of vitality. So sense of well-being, love and or compassion and creativity. These are the three positive. But there are three absences. Absences mean not complete absence, but freedom. And that is freedom from fear. Because if we have fear, it stops the fulfilling our life's goal. So freedom from fear, freedom from guilt, freedom from inner conflict. Of course, all of us will be there intermittently. But if they are not burning our life, that is what I call freedom. So not the absence of fear, not the absence of guilt because they serve good function, and not the absence of conflict, but freedom from three of them. So we can move in our life to fulfill ourselves. So that is how I will rate mental health. Now the second one is the neuroscience of healing. The beauty is that all of us contain the most beautiful part of our animal past, and that is our brain. This brain is a marvelous instrument, and that is the biggest pharmacy ever created in our universe. This brain is full of hormones, neurotransmitter, and a huge variety of chemicals. As we know, through pituitary, hypothalamus, pineal gland, and pleasure centers, and each cell of them, it contains all the cannabinoids, anandamide, benzodiazepine, you name it. But what happens after the age of 4 to 5, this brain slowly becomes dormant, and it is because of our cultural and social upbringing. Because we have to adjust to our society, our family in such a big way that our own natural pharmacy or healing system slowly is on the back burner. So whatever we do most of the time in our life is not for us, it is for social and cultural and family structure. But the beauty is that can never become a totally dysfunctional or afunctional. At any point of time, actually, we can awaken it. And that is what happens on a spiritual path or even on non-spiritual path. That certain events can shake or shatter that conditioning, social and cultural, and we reclaim what is ours. And that is our own brain and body. Once they are awakened, you must see the miracle of healing. And this is not something transcendental or belong to that world. It is the very property of our brain and body. Of course, I can go in great details because we talk about it, but maybe time is not there. But yes,
reflect on how to activate it. Some guidance into the path.
that's right. So there are two things. Number one is the identity. Because if I say, okay, do yoga, you do meditation, you do breath work, those are merely techniques. We can do them, but when it comes to some kind of consistency, some kind of long-term plan in order to activate it permanently, then the first thing is my identity, that whether I am comfortable in this world or not. And I talked about it, so I won't talk identity. And after identity, what I talk today is my natural personality or my personality, also called dosha, also called prakriti. Because what happens, most of the things which we do in our life are not aligned with our natural personality. We do for our parents, for our children, for our husband, for our wife, for our relatives, for our employer. So basically, we are divided into multiple fragments. So we become a father or a mother or a boss or this and that, and uncle or aunt, or a daughter and a son. But in that is lost who I am. And I'm not talking again transcendental, I'm talking about my mind and body with which I was born. So first thing is I have to reclaim that. And that reclaiming was the part of Ayurveda. Any old Ayurvedic physician, whenever people went to them, they actually diagnosed our mind, body, personality. Because they knew if healing has to happen, I have to know what kind of personality a person has. Because then not only herbs can be given, but whole lifestyle management has to change. And that is a very, very big door. Actually, that is a very core. And as I said, the first inkling, first sign of entering into my mind body is experience of flow. The moment I experience that sense of flow, well-being, that is a sign, yes, I'm going in right direction. And it is so powerful that even quite a severe PTSD, which causes profound disturbances in one's personality, can be healed completely. Of course, mind body includes meditation also, yoga also, breath work also, and all kinds of things. But core is my natural personality. I have to understand it.
Thank you. The follow-up question is, do we get less intelligent as we age? And at what stage does intelligence peak?
That's right. Very good question. As we get older, we get more intelligent. And that is why I don't remember the name of this person who wrote the book. Aging is saging. Aging is saging. Why in Indian and Chinese and native Indian society we respect elders? We respect elders because the brain is changing. It becomes a little less sharp cognitively. But the beauty of aging brain is it is more interconnected. It is more, so the brain as we age is holistic. Brain of a younger person is not holistic. It is not integrated. But brain of a younger person is cognitively very sharp. So you give them a specific task, they will do it very well. But when it comes to a wise decision, emotionally intelligent decision, it is the older brain. And the beauty is, older brain actually doesn't slow down. So there was Michael Remsker, I think, who gave this research work. He said there is so much data in the brain of the experience. So before an older person makes decision, it takes time. So that doesn't mean decline. That simply means it is a very well informed decision, it's a better decision, it's a wiser decision. So I will say the way I define intelligence, actually intelligence increases, but certain parts of the brain, as I said, cognitive, certain parts of memory, yes, they decline, but that is very well compensated by other parts of the brain. We discuss it in yoga of aging and old age. I call it Vana Yoga because Vanprasthashram. So we go through all these details that we must never feel I becoming less intelligent. Actually, spiritually, I'm becoming more intelligent.
Thank you. Rita goes on to ask if, yeah, Prashant, you want to ask something? Or can I?
Sir,
Rita,
please you continue. Please
thank
you
you.
continue after this. I will.
Okay. Rita asks if narcissus attitude, is it the worst form of mental illness?
Narcissistic attitude is not a mentalness. Narcissism is, because there is a difference between narcissism and narcissistic attitude. Sometimes narcissistic attitude develops when person feels unsafe, insecure, anxious. Then they become very self-absorbed, self-protective, and they seek safety everywhere. And that happens to a lot of younger people nowadays who are very anxious. But that is actually not true narcissism. That is narcissistic attitude. There is a reason for it. Narcissism, yes, it is a very severe form of mental illness because the brain is wired in such a way that to break the pattern of narcissism is a very difficult one. And these people are the people who will use anyone for their own advantage, pleasure, and then they will throw them, they will discard others. So, yes, true narcissism is a real mental illness. Narcissistic attitude, there is some very clear reason if it can discover it.
Thank you for that. Rita Isaac is very impressed and happy that you gave a very amazing response, and she liked your soothing and serene talk. Thanks a lot for sharing such beautiful thoughts. We had
Thank
an awesome time of soulful talk. I feel gratitude for this session.
Oh, thank you very much, Akshay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks to Rita. Thanks for watching and following us. And thank you, Jivasuji, for a very comprehensive and nicely explained description of the question and the answer.
Thank
Prashant, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Uh,
Yes.
sir, actually, I have a question. Sir, is it possible to live all the time in swa means self state? In fact, during the burden of work.
Uh, yes, most of the time, not all the time, because sometime there will be crises, you will come out of it, but very soon you will go back to it. Because this sense of well-being or swasth state becomes a new state. So even if there is a crisis, there is a problem, you will be out of it for a day, for a two, and then you will just revert back to it automatically without any effort. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, this state will appear for few minutes, then for few hours, then for few days, and then it becomes almost constant.
Sir, what is called that state?
Pardon? Well, that state in India we call the Atma. I call it a peak intelligence state. Some people call it natural self. There are various, but Atma is a very traditional way of describing this state. And in naturality, we call integrative intelligence. Integrative intelligence, it integrates everything of our life into something wholesome. So, integrative intelligence in naturality teachings, Atma in traditional teachings.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I would like to, through this medium, let Rita know and other viewers know that those who are more interested in knowing about identity, to which Jivasuji just alluded to, can go back to our archives. We have 350 odd videos. I was trying to search it for you. I actually almost found it, but then in with my hands full, trying to read out the Facebook viewers and also trying to simultaneously post, I couldn't. But you will find it. It's there. Just before Bindo's one month before that, about 3 weeks before that, you'll find that
That,
talk by Jivasuji on identity.
That's right.
Sir, there's another question. What does a good mental health mean? And this was done, so sorry about that. Thanks a lot. And so Prashant, you were satisfied that while you are burdened with a lot of work in the lab, you are still able to carry on with a sense of
Oh
euphoria.
yes, that's right. Yeah, because in this state, your brain is exploding with energy. So burden is just like a drop on the lotus flower. It will stay transiently. The wind will come, shake it, it's gone, finished, leaving no mark, no anxiety.
Great. Yeah, as always, you've been so inspiring and so having so much depth and commitment for mind body medicine. We really appreciate your taking out time. And the best thing is also for the viewers and also for our team, it's just WhatsApp away and he readily agrees to a time that we request him to come. So we are so grateful and we feel so good listening to you. Thank you for coming live with us, and we hope that you will you will continue to be a part of this ongoing series, and
Of
some point we
course.
will come again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank,
Akash.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks
Thank
a
Thank
you,
you,
lot.
sir.
Prashant. Thank you.
Thank you.